Welcome, impactful parents. It's time for the Impactful Parenting Podcast, where I give you parenting tips and resources to make you a more impactful parent to your school-age child. I am your host, Kristina Campos. For kids to turn their chaos into connection with their adolescent. I'm a mom of four, a parent that's taught every grade from preschool through high school. And today I help moms and dads like yourself navigate that exhausting, confusing, frustrating, but rewarding world of parenting. So welcome to the Impactful Parent. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Aimee Rickabus. And Aimee is a dedicated person to women's leadership. As the author of a book called ManageHer and the host of the podcast by the same name, she highlights how the invisible labor that women perform every single day translates into actually systems and thinking and problem solving and leadership skills. And it can transform a business and even a community. So I invited Aimee onto the Impactful Parent stage today to give us some tips and secrets on how she has mothered these 6 children and became a successful entrepreneur. I would love for her just to teach us her way. So thank you for being here today, Aimee.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a lovely intro. Thank you.
Well, in today's episode, I want to bridge the gap between this invisible home labor and the high-level systems thinking that you talk so much about by providing these actionable tips to our listeners today. So I'm really excited. And Aimee, you often say that motherhood is the ultimate training ground for leadership. So my first question to you is, how did you personally realize that managing a household of 6 was actually developing your skills as a tech CEO rather than distracting you from being this amazing entrepreneur?
Well, in 2020, I found myself, my husband got really sick. And I found myself running 2 companies while he was in the hospital. And I had 2 small babies and 4 other children at the time. And I was taking a class that was a free class that was offered through San Diego Gas and Electric Company. And it was about all these business skills. And all of a sudden I realized we've got in our homes, we have people, capital, and systems. In our businesses, we have people, capitals, and systems. So it's the same 3 principles that you're managing, whether you're at home or you're managing a company.
And many moms view this invisible labor, which is like the mental load, is really what we're talking about. It's a burden. But in your book, you frame it as systems thinking. So I want to hear more about that. Can you explain the difference and how changing that perspective changes a woman's confidence?
For me, I had to make a narrative shift. If I was going to run the companies and run the house at the same time, I had to change the way I was thinking about everything. And for me, it was like, let's change the words that I'm using in the house. And really, that was the spark to write the book was, Aimee, you need to rewrite this story. You know, let's change the way we think about what we're doing in our homes and let's make it empowering. And let's take it and turn it into a return on investment of our time and this leadership training that we're getting, because we're getting massive. I mean, you look at a mama duck with her ducklings following her, and I mean, that's leadership, right?
Yeah, 100%. I love this concept because I feel like so much as moms, we just like dismiss and downgrade ourselves. We don't give ourselves enough credit. And wow, like running a household, especially if you're doing it majority by yourself, which so many women are, because the men are just only providing, which is awesome. That's great. They're bringing in the capital. But that whole management system, it's so overwhelming if you're not used to it, if you're not that type of person who loves it. And so I just like this idea of changing the way we're going to view it, because how we perceive things and how we just look at stuff, it's exactly the same thing, but it's the glass is half empty or the glass is half full type of thing. And that's what I want moms to realize today with today's episode. So it's exciting to have you on with this different perspective. And along those same lines, you talked about transitioning from a lone wolf to a leader who understands delegation. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Aimee.
There's no way that I can do what I do without lots of people to help us. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way at some point in your life you have to make the choice to empower other people. This is where the people come into the
This
thing.
is so
How
hard,
do
though.
you
This is
people?
so hard for so many moms.
Oh my gosh, I think this is a hard one for women in general. I run into this one with a lot of female entrepreneurs. You know, it's like I want to do it all because I'm going to do it the best. But at some point in your life, you have to realize that if you're doing everything, you're gonna burn yourself out, first of all. And you're also taking away the ability to empower others around you. You're taking away your community that can hold you up, and you're isolating yourself. And you can actually do a lot more if you allow other people, you give them systems, and you allow other people to help you.
And so let's translate that into real life, because
Mhm.
I know exactly what you're talking about and what that looks like even in my own household. But a lot of parents don't. So I'd like to give them a visual of what that is, because we don't want moms doing it all alone. It is one of the biggest traps that motherhood can give you. We actually do want to delegate as much as we can off to, like you said, the people around us, which in our home is our kids and our partner, but let's focus on our children. So it's delegating these tasks as much as you can to your kids. And I love one of the wording that you just said was that if you don't delegate, you are taking away somebody else's ability to do it, to try, to improve, to learn, to all of that. And that is exactly the same with our kids.
Yes, indeed. And I think the big one, this really came for me in 2020 also, as that not only did I get to run two companies by myself, I also got to homeschool all of my children because all the schools were closed. So that was fun. But at that point, I think I heard a woman, I was listening to a podcast and I heard a woman who basically said, even if it's not done as well as you would do it, if your child is doing the task, it's one less thing for you to do. And it just was like an aha moment for me. And I realized, guess what? Julian, it's your lucky day. I think he was maybe like 11. And I'm like, you've always loved the steam mop. Guess what, buddy? This is going to be your new thing. You get to mop the floors now. Once a week, you're going to get to steam mop. And he was like so excited because he's wanted to use that thing since he was like 6 years old. And so everybody got a job. Everybody, because it's like, you know, all these people in this house, why should I be doing all this work by myself? You know, was Gabriel capable of cleaning all of the mirrors and the windows? Yeah. Was he stoked to do it? Yeah. He got to use a squirt bottle. He got to, you know what I mean? There's all these things that there were forbidden world. And all of a sudden, it's like, if you make it fun, you make it a game, you make it empowering. It's kind of amazing how much your children will rise to the occasion to help you.
And it teaches so much responsibility. We got to start delegating. I know it's hard, parents, because you can do it easier, quicker, better, faster. The faster is really what gets a lot of us. So,
Yeah.
but parenthood is like this. It's a lesson in patience and remembering to slow down. And I know somebody out there needs to hear that right now. I know I have to hear it every day because I'm one of those moms that's like, go, 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 let's do it. And I thrive on productivity. And the more I can get done, the better I feel. But every day I need to remind myself, I got to slow down. It's okay that they're taking that long. They're doing it on their own. That has a lot of value in itself. Got to give myself some pep talk, man, because I get it. It's not easy to delegate.
And we're not raising children, we're raising adults, right? So it's like this idea that we have to give them life skills. And if we're doing everything for them, we're really never teaching them how to do it for themselves. And the end game is they can do everything for themselves. Like ideally, we've raised them and they know how to do laundry and they know to wash their dishes and they know if they make a mess in the bathroom that they need to clean it up and they know how to scrub a toilet. You know, I had this conversation last night with my 14-year-old. Guess what, buddy? You have graduated to toilet cleaning. It is no one else's job to clean the poop stains out of your toilet, you know, because guess what? Like you're going to grow up and that's a lovely life skill to have.
Now, I got a question for you because a lot of moms listening who are overwhelmed by that mental load and all the things that we need to do, I know there's a mom listening who doesn't know how to even unveil the work of what needs to be done because there's so much mental load happening. What would you say to that mom out there who's just feeling overwhelmed? They're listening to us right now, but they're overwhelmed and they're like, they don't even know where to start because the mental load is just too rough to even deal with.
So I had a therapist at this time, and she asked me to write down everything I do in the house, which I found overwhelming. But at the same time, if you get it out of your mind and you put it on paper, even if it's like, think of top 10 household chores you're doing in your home and write them down, and then kind of figure out, which one of your children is age appropriate for that task, and what would be a learning opportunity, because honestly, our homes should be our schools too, because ultimately knowing how to do the domestic work is almost more important than a lot of the stuff they're learning in school. If you know how to care for your home, that's kind of a non-negotiable as a grown-up. You've got to know how to do these things. So it is age appropriate teaching for us to kind of turn our homes into a school. How are we going to use our homes to empower our children? How are we going to use this invisible work that should be visible, that we are making visible to our children, to empower them and empower ourselves? It's like, we can do this.
No, I love it. And it's about, like you
awareness.
said, creating systems, so it's like calendars and, whiteboards, and it might be, it could look like that, or it could look like a shared Google Doc. There's so many things that we can do to help with our systems inside of our home that so many parents don't utilize, because there's also a lot of mom guilt that comes with asking for help and delegating in order to be able to be a better parent. If we want more time for ourselves so we can feel like we're not as run down, so that we can be better moms, but then we feel guilty. Oh, what do we do about mom guilt, Aimee?
Mom guilt is a real thing. It's so fun. I'm going to have a guest on my show this week, and her name's Dr. Danielle Dowling, and she wrote a book called Good Girl, Bad Mom. And it's so much about like this nice girl syndrome, that we feel like we need to like carry the world. And she's been reading my book, and she's like pointed out basically where I talk about how we live in this world as a mom, that everybody else's feelings and everybody else's needs are more important than our own. And we really need to level up the playing field and realize that being a mom is such an important job, but that we really need to start taking better care of ourselves. We need to mother ourselves as much as we're mothering our children and our spouses. And we need to be a priority, because you can't do it very well if you're not taking care of you.
Just out of curiosity, because you do this well, this is what you do, you create systems and you're very successful. Do you have one specific business system per se, maybe a tech tool or anything that you do that you've implemented in your home that you feel like, man, this saves my sanity, that you can share with us so that maybe we can learn from you?
Okay, my top two favorite apps, and this is in my book too. Greenlight for money. This is such a time saver for me. My kids get their allowance on Greenlight, and then I don't have to. It's kind of a no brainer now. So it's automated, and if they're somewhere and they need money, I can just add it very quickly. But Life 360, holy moly, what a game changer. There's a part of our brain that actually develops while we're pregnant. Part of our brain shrinks down, and once we give birth, our brain grows back, and it has baby GPS in it. And Life 360 allows that part of your brain just to relax just a tiny bit, because now there's an app that can manage where your family is. And I feel like my kids like to know where I am just as much as I like to know where they are. But what such peace of mind with that app, that is for me one of the best ones. We absolutely utilize our Google Calendar too. It's how we can keep track of like all of the things in life, the appointments, the baseball practices, the baseball games. We've got 3 kids in baseball on 4 different teams, and management is a big part of what we do. So implementing, and I'm sure a lot of you guys already do those, the Google Calendar, the Apple Calendar, shared family calendars are just absolutely awesome. But we keep a calendar in our kitchen also that's a dry erase calendar because I have a nanny at home. And that way she also knows what's up. Especially when I'm traveling, it's really nice to know that everybody knows when I'll be back, when I'm leaving, who's coming on which days, and at what times they're coming in. I think it gives peace of mind to everybody.
I want to get into your book now because you have an amazing resource for our parents. It's called The ManageHer, and I love the play on words. It's unveiling women's invisible work and sparking a leadership revolution. And I love that you view this as your blueprint for turning everyday challenges into success. So tell us more about what's inside. Who is this book for? What can we find inside of this amazing resource?
I think this book is for every woman who is considering motherhood, is a mother, has been a mother. And this book is about really, truly the very special, sacred journey of motherhood. Also, how we can use our experience as mothers to empower ourselves and each other as women, how we can reclaim the narrative of motherhood as, invisible labor, and reclaim it as leadership experience, reclaim it as a master class in leadership, basically ways that we can use systems thinking to do it with the words that we use in business. I think sometimes just bringing language in where there is no language, when we have invisible work, we're working in a space that doesn't have language around it. And once we give words to things, we can change the narrative and we can empower the action. So it's about really changing and empowering the action. You're not putting away your utensils. You're creating a standard operating procedure in your kitchen. The spoons go here, the forks go here, the knives go here. This is where the rice goes. This is where the bread goes. This is where the cereal goes. These are standard operating procedures, SOPs. You're not creating a birth plan. You're creating a strategic action plan. In business, this is how we're going to get from here to here. This is the goal. This is how we're going to break it down and get there. And so it's about reclaiming and reframing the narrative around motherhood.
Would you say that the book is primarily for women in business or entrepreneurs or even stay-at-home moms?
It's absolutely for everyone. I have a lot of moms that have been inspired, who were maybe working a 40-hour job and decided that it would be better if they claimed their little piece of entrepreneurship and created their own little side hustle so that they have more time with their kids, which is something I think I'm very passionate about. That I think we as mothers underestimate our ability to be systems engineers and our ability to run and manage things. And I think this book is for everyone. I actually even have a lot of young women who haven't had children who have read my book.
I'm going to be digging more into what's inside of this, because I hear you saying that this is pretty motivational. This is going to give me that language that if I really identify with the business world, it's going to give me language that I can use inside of my home, so I can relate and I can fix my systems. What about tips, advice? What other things can we find inside?
Inside my book, you're going to find it's a bit of a journey. Honestly, when I write a book, I feel like I'm going through something as I'm writing the book. And as I was writing this book, I was doing a lot of self-exploration on why am I doing this work invisibly? What societal training have I had that made me feel like this is the way these things have to be done? And how is this expression of my being negatively affecting my household life, my life with my children, my life with my spouse? And then how could I change this narrative so that I feel my family feels happier, I feel happier. I've created something that's more supportive to my emotional needs as well as everyone else's in the house. So this book was really an exploration of how can we reframe this? How could we do this better? What part of motherhood are we just kind of copying from our mothers and from our grandmothers? And what part of this doesn't serve us any longer? How could we do this better?
I am so excited about this because I just feel like mic drop, bam. So much was said there, which is so true. And I love the sentiment. I hope that people go out there and grab it. So where can we find this book?
It's everywhere. It's Amazon, and then any bookstore can order it for you also. It's absolutely everywhere. The ManageHer on Amazon is the easiest place to get it.
One last question for you, and that is, how do you think we should be the most impactful parent? So I ask my guests when they come on, because you're on the Impactful Parenting podcast, with this particular subject that you're talking about. So it's pretty open. How can we be the best impactful parent that we can? And so what advice do you have for us?
Okay. This one is lead with love. Okay. Lead with love, not only for your family and your children. Be a leader, but be calm and assertive in your leadership. And remember that the first person you have to lead in your life is you. So it's this self-management is part of the ManageHer. It's like, how can I manage me so that I can manage you more efficiently, more out of a place of love, with more empathy for your situation in life. I think that that's a big part of it. Lead with love.
And if people are resonating with our episode today and they want more than just your book, I know that you do more than this. So how can the audience get a hold of you?
So I have a podcast. It's called The ManageHer. It's on all of the platforms. It's on YouTube and Spotify, Apple, everywhere you go, you can find me, The ManageHer. And I'm on social media, Instagram, TikTok. It's The ManageHer. Come and find me. I'd love to find you guys.
Thank you for listening today. Remember to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend. And don't forget, the Impactful Parenting Podcast is an extension of the Impactful Parent community. Go to the Impactful Parent website and download the free Impactful Parent app so you don't miss a parenting tip that can help you and your family. Thanks for listening today. So go to theimpactfulparent.com and see you next episode.